All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be making the eyes. So for that, we're going to take our black medium weight yarn and a 3.5 millimeter hook. You can also use a 3.75 or a 4 millimeter hook. I prefer the 3, but some people feel like it's a little bit small. So because we've only made the magic ring once in this project, we're going to do it again pretty slowly. So row 1, we start with our magic ring. Remember, you're going to keep it anchored like so with your thumb. Wrap around your 2 fingers, cross in the front, and bring it around like so. Flip it over and insert your hook underneath. Grab that farther strand, pull it, turn, and then insert underneath this strand and yarn over, pull it through. Just like that. Mine split a little bit. There we go. So that's our magic ring. And then we're going to single crochet 7 into the ring. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to go ahead and grab our yarn tail, and we're going to pull it nice and tight. Now it can be a little bit hard sometimes to see where the next stitch is. Oh, sorry, let me switch my slide to row 2. So we're going to increase times 7. So each one of these we're going to put an increasing stitch into. And for me, it often takes a little bit of work to get that first one. All right, so we've got a single crochet, then we'll put another single crochet in the same stitch for an increasing stitch. And we'll just do that all the way around. So that was 1. Then we have 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. And 7. Then what you're going to do after you finish your 7 increases, you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, and then pull right through. And then you're going to cut about 10 inches of yarn tail. So you're going to say, I want about that much. And go ahead and just tie it off by pulling it through. So you're going to do that twice because you want to have 2 eyes. So what you're going to do next, so you're going to take your eye, we're going to zoom in here for a minute so it's a little bit easier to see. And we're going to take some white worsted weight yarn, about 5 inches worth. And we're going to thread it onto a yarn needle. We're not going to knot the ends together, we're just going to leave it like this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take it from the back side and we're going to insert it between the first and the second row. I'm going to pull it through, leaving about 1 inch on the side, and then we're going to go over 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and push it back. And on the back side, we're going to go over 1 stitch. So we're going to come up on this side. We'll pull it through, then push it back just 1 stitch over. So this makes the highlights in the eyes. And so we have one that's larger and we have a smaller one. And you just pull your needle off since you didn't tie a knot in it. And then you can take these 2 ends and just knot them together. And something I also like to do is I like to take this end that's from when we started the eye, and I like to knot it with at least one of them as well, so that I know that the foundation is secure. And then I'm just going to take kind of all 3 of these ends and just cut the excess. So that will all be on the back side of the eye and won't be seen. So when you have the next eye made, you're going to do the same thing, just in reverse. So we're going to, well, not in reverse, backwards. So we're going to do the same thing where we thread our needle with the white yarn. But instead, last time we worked going to the left. Sorry, we worked kind of counterclockwise. This time we're going to work clockwise. We're going to insert our needle in between the first and second row. Pull through till there's 1 inch on the other side, and then we're going to go over 2 going clockwise. Pull through to the back. Go over 1. Push to the front, over 1, push to the back. Just like that. So that the highlights are the exact opposite of each other. Then we'll pull this needle off, and then following that same procedure, just knot everything together. So these are what we're going to use for our eyes. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to be sewing the eyes onto the head. So what you need to establish first is kind of where we want to pin them in place. So you're going to grab your pins and the eyes, and of course the body. And we're going to be placing them in roughly like the 5th row back. So if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're going to be pinned somewhere around here, and a little bit, you know, not exactly centered. This way, we're going to probably go a little bit higher than center. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be roughly in here, and we're just pinning in place right now so we can see if we like where they're sitting and if there are any changes that we want to make. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And put a couple pins in there. Now, see, this is why we pin things into place, because I pinned my eyes really, really off-centered. So that's an important thing to notice, is that when you're placing the eyes, you want to take into account that your legs are what keep you centered. And so take a look at the legs and then lay out the eyes accordingly. So I'm pretty happy with where this one is, but this one here on the left is way off. All right, that looks a little bit better. I'm still going to micro adjust though. I'm liking where they sit. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with pulling them out and trying again and just fiddling with it until you are happy with the location of the eyes. So once you're pretty pleased with where they're sitting, you're going to take the yarn tail and you're going to thread it onto your needle. Like so. And then you're going to take it and you're going to insert it into a stitch really close to the eye. And pull it through. Then you're going to go up through both stitches of the outside of one of the eyes and pull it through. I'm going to remove this pin. And then instead of going out and up and out and up repeatedly, what we're going to do is we're going to work down through the next stitch. And then we're going to go into the head, underneath the stitch in the head. We're going to go up through the next stitch, down through the next, and then through the head. You honestly can sew these on however you would like. I have attached a lot of eyes in my time, and I have found that this method of going up one and then down the other gives it the cleanest look. So that's why I recommend it. You want to keep these stitches nice and close, all of the stitches that are going into the head, really close to the eye, so that it has a nice clean look and you don't have like straggling lines everywhere. The exception to that being if you want to put on eyelashes. So I do want to make eyelashes. So kind of at this point where I think an eyelash would naturally sit, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go out farther into the head, farther away from it, and then back up through. I'm getting a little twisted. There we go. Through an outside stitch, like so, and pull it through. And so that's what gives you the lash look. And I'm going to go down through this next one here, and I'm going to go through the head. Sorry, I'm spinning this a lot and it might be a little confusing. For that, I apologize. All right, and then on the next stitch when I want to go down, I'm also going to take it out and I'm going to do another set of, I guess I'll do two eyelashes. You can do more if you want to have like 3 or 4 eyelashes, you absolutely can. There are all different kinds of styles for this. I'm going to twist this so it's a little easier. And then once you have your eyelashes on, you just keep sewing around the eye, securing it as you go. I'm pulling it nice and tight. All right, so now we're back to the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to knot it off. Once again, you can kind of do this however you would like. I try and make my knots the least noticeable that they can be. You want them to be nice and secure. So you can kind of see that knot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert my needle kind of going back underneath the eye and through this back part of the head. And I'm just going to pull it through and kind of tighten it up so that the knot mostly disappears into the underneath part of the eye. And any excess you can just cut it off and then weave it in. Like so. Then you're going to do the same thing on the second eye. Just crochet or just sew it all the way around. So once you have the eyes sewn on, it's time to shape the head. And this is one of the most important steps, in my opinion, when it comes to a lot of amigurumi, and specifically this project. So what you're going to need is, you can do either the white or the black worsted weight yarn. Probably depends on what color you've chosen for your bunny. If you have a darker color body, black would probably be better. Lighter color, white. So we're going to go ahead and do white. You're going to take about 10 to 12 inches worth of yarn, and you're going to thread it onto your needle. We're not going to knot the end. We're just going to leave it like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to insert it like right at the corner of this eye, and we're going to push it to the corner of this eye. So it takes a little bit of persuasion, and you have to be careful that you don't poke your fingers. There we go. And then you're gonna pull it through. Ooh. Well, not all the way through. You're going to leave actually about half of it on the first side. So just like this. Then you're going to take it and you're going to insert the needle just like a half stitch down. But instead of inserting it and pushing it back to this side, we're actually going to push it down, let's see, in the 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, probably about between the 4th and the 5th row, right kind of in the center of the, nope, I changed my mind. We want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to go in the 6th row. We're going to try and get it centered kind of in the 6th row. So I don't know if I can do this left-handed, so I'm going to turn it so I can do it right-handed. You're just going to take it and you're going to push right through there. And you're going to pull your needle off. So pulling back to the front, this is what it looks like. And then you're going to go ahead and thread the needle on this side. Then doing the same thing, you're going to insert it about a half stitch down, just right next to the eye. And you're going to try and get it in that exact same hole that this stitch is in. All right, and you're going to pull it through. So now you have both of your strands right here, and you can see that this is already starting to, before it was just kind of shapeless and round, but as we pull on these, the eyes sort of come forward and into focus a little bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the 2 strands and you're just going to do like half of a a standard knot, like so, and you're going to pull tight. Not completely tight, but you're just going to kind of pull gently until it's, until you have a nice dimple at each eye and also a little bit of a dimple here at the chin. And so I'm pretty happy with where that is right now. So I'm going to secure it by knotting probably 2 more times. So I've got 1, and then 2. So we've ended up triple knotting it. Then you're just going to flip it over and weave in these ends. And so that's so important because that takes this from being just shapeless to starting to actually look like a bunny. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to embroider on the nose. So for this, we're going to take probably 6 to 8 inches of black yarn, and you're going to thread it onto your needle, which you're probably getting really good at by now. That or you've been fighting it and it's making you angry. If that's true, I'm sorry. So we're going to take our yarn and our needle and we're going to insert it on the far side, kind of right below the eye in the 3rd row. We're going to push it just under the row, come up on the other side, leave ourselves a yarn tail, then we're going to go over the opposite side of what is the 3rd row as it spirals outward and push it underneath that row. So what we have is this long line right across here. Then we're going to take our needle, we're going to insert it in the same spot where we've just been, and we're going to push it to kind of the center of this 2nd row. Just like this. So there should be no evidence that there was a black thread on this side at all. Then we're just going to pick up right underneath that yarn and we're going to pull it down, straight down. And that's what gives our kind of nose shape here. And we're going to insert our needle just 1 row down from where that is. But we're going to angle it so that it comes right up through this same stitch that we first started in. And you're going to pull your needle off like that. So then the only thing you have left to do is to knot these 2 strands together and weave them into the project. So knotted together nicely. And you're going to weave them in, and they should disappear completely. Oops. Ah, not like that. This one apparently needs a little more trimming. All right, there we go. So that is what our bunny's nose looks like. It's starting to get cute. Alrighty, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be making the ears. So we're back with working with our super bulky burlap blanket yarn. And we're going to magic ring single crochet 6. So we'll walk through this pretty slowly again. You might be an expert at it by this point. We're just going to wrap it around our 2 fingers, make an X, wrap it around, bring it to the front, flip your hand over, insert your hook within the hook portion down, under, then grab the farther strand, pull it under, twist, and grab this strand, yarn over, and pull through. Now we're going to single crochet 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go ahead and pull your yarn tight. And grab a stitch marker. In row 2, we're going to increase times 6. So we're going to put an increasing stitch into each one of the existing stitches. So we've got increase 1, increase 2, increase 3, increase 4, increase 5, there we go, and increase 6. Row 3, we're going to single crochet 3. We've got 1, 2, and 3, then increase. We're going to do that 2 more times. So 1, 2, 3, and increase. Last one. 1, 2, 3, increase. So this gives us 15 stitches. And in the next row, so we went 6, 12, 15. Now in the next row, we're going back to 12. So the first stitch we're going to do is a decrease. So we're going to work under the first loop, or the front loop of the first 2 stitches. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then single crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. And we'll repeat that. Grab the front loop of one, the front loop of the next, yarn over, pull through, then 1, 2, 3. And decrease. And single crochet 3, 2, and 3. And if you're using a running row marker, stitch marker, flip it over. All right, row 5, we're going to do a single crochet, then a decrease. Grab those first 2 loops and finish your stitch, and then a single crochet. And then we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So single crochet, decrease, and single crochet. One more time, single crochet, decrease, single crochet. for a total of 9 stitches. I'm going to take a second here to pull my magic ring, make sure that's nice and tight. It was looking a little loose. There we go. Now row 6, we're going to do 1 decrease. So we're working through those front loops to collapse those 2 stitches into 1, and then we're going to single crochet 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Oh, kind of pull out more yarn. There we go. 7 for a total of 8 stitches. Now on row 7, what we're going to do is we're going to squish our rows together. And so we're going to take them like this. They're nice and squished together, and we have these, there are rows or stitches that go right across from each other, and what we're going to do is we're just going to insert our hook under the first one and then under the one directly across from it. And we're going to yarn over and pull through. So we're going to make stitches that way. So we're going to do 1, 2, and then 3. Then we're going to, so the row count for the row is 3, but then we're going to chain 1. Then turn it back the way we came. For row 8, we're going to do the same thing, just working back the way we came. We're going to single crochet 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to chain 1. All right, then for row 9, we're going to do the same thing where we single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then this is our last row for the ear, so we're going to single crochet 3, 1, 2, and 3. So at this point what you're going to do is you're going to cut about a 6 to 8 inch yarn tail. And then you're going to tie it off by just pulling the yarn right through, just like that. And so once you've done that twice, so you've got your 2 ears, you're going to need your fabric pins and your bunny. And you're going to be attaching the ears. I like to attach them so that the bottom of the ears are kind of near the bottom of the chin. So that's kind of how I establish the height for mine. And you're going to be pinning them in the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, between the 7th, 8th, and 9th rows. So those top 3 single crochets are going to sit in those rows. And so we always pin and then check. So this is what feels right to me at the moment for where they should sit. Then I'm going to pull it up, take a look at it. I think that's pretty cute. I like how that's looking. So I'm going to go ahead and start attaching. You can either use a yarn needle, or I'm going to just use my 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and I'm just going to work underneath a stitch that's right next to where my yarn tail is, and I'm going to pull it through. Then I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to go under another stitch, then under that second single crochet, pull out my pin and yarn over and pull it through both. Pull it tight so it's nice and secure. Then I'm going to do the same thing for this last one here. Just yarn over and pull it through. And so that's how I'm going to secure the ear. So I worked from the back to the front on this one. On this side, I'm going to work from the front to the back. But I'm going to do that exact same thing. Just pull that yarn tail through the first stitch. Oh, that one's too far away. Then through another stitch in the head and the second single crochet. Pull it through both. And pull it tight. And then that third single crochet. Just like that. So attaching these is pretty simple. I didn't knot them off and weave in the ends individually. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the ends and I'm going to pull them to a central location. So I'm going to pull them so they're both in this exact same stitch right here. And then I'm going to take the two ends and I'm just going to do a double knot. So you're going to pull tight, but not too tight, because if you pull too tight, you're going to kind of affect the ends where the yarn tails came from. But you do want it to be nice and secure. You're just going to form a double knot, cut off the excess, and then weave in the ends. Maybe I should have cut off just a little bit more, but we'll get it. There we go. So that is how you attach the ears. And we're going to begin with a magic ring, which you guys are getting just awesome at by this point, I am sure. It is the best way to start amigurumi in my personal opinion, so I advocate using it all the time. Then we're going to single crochet 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and pull that yarn end tight. And we're ready for row 2, which is increase times 7. So you can use a row marker here if you'd like. I'm just going to count aloud so I don't lose the numbers that I have, and I'm not going to worry about it. So we're going to increase 1, increase 2, increase 3, increase 4, increase 5, increase 6, and increase 7. So on this tail, row 3 is going to be single crochet 14. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then we're going to cut a 5 to 6 inch tail, tie it off, make sure it is going the right way. Mine like to fold inward for some reason. And then you're going to take a smaller hook. I'm going to use my 5.5 millimeter, and you're just going to take the yarn tail and you're going to grab, you're going to insert your hook through the outside loop of each stitch. You're just going to yarn over and pull it through. So we're going to grab all 14 of these. Like so. Once you're about halfway around, you're going to want to pull tight and start cinching it up. We're going to tuck our yarn tail in here and keep working around. Oops. Gathering all of those loops. I'm going to pull it tight again. And we're going to finish up these last few. And pull it tight. So it doesn't completely close off. Well, I guess it might be able to, but that's not the most important. But you do want it, it should have a pretty nice firm feel to it without stuffing it. Then you're going to take your bunny and you're going to pin this into place, just centered on, I guess, the center of the body, and kind of in the, I guess just on the top here. I don't know exactly which row this is. Let me pin it into place and then I'll count it out for you, so we know which row we're talking about. All right, so we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, kind of 18, 19. I guess I'd say 19, 20 rows is where you're going to want to pin it. And then you're going to use, you can either do your yarn needle or a hook. And you're just going to work the yarn tail through the nearby stitches. In the rabbit, and then those last 14 gathered stitches. And you're just going to work your way all the way around this little bunny tail. And the 14 gathered stitches really do kind of shrink up, so you're not going to make like 14 joins. You're just going to gather. This guy's causing me problems. And just work your way around the last bit of the tail. and the 19th and 20th row of the body. Once you get back to the beginning, it feels like everything's nice and tightly on there. I'm going to put one more. Yep, pull that through. There we go. That feels better to me. Then you're going to go ahead and knot it off, and then weave in the ends. Goodness, there we go. Got a good knot. Weave it in. Fluff up your bunny tail just a little bit. And that is the end. So I hope you guys have enjoyed making our little chubby bunny here. It's been a fun pattern for me, and I hope you guys get to make lots of them. So here we are at the end of our chubby bunny tutorial. I hope you guys had so much fun making the chubby bunny. I would love to see your finished makes, so if you are going to be posting pictures on Instagram or on Facebook, please tag Old Soul Crochet Company. I'd love to see what you guys do, and use the hashtag ChubbyBunnyCal. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, I hope you guys will consider subscribing and following along on my channel and on my crochet journey. Something that is exciting that's coming in July is we're going to be doing a crochet along / tutorial for the baby sheep pattern. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, subscribe. I would love to see you there. I hope you guys had so much fun, and I will see you in the next tutorial.